Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 5, consists of me, Yasmin Luxiah, Nadia Alia Fitri, Valia Zakira Utami, and Alfa Kevin. We will explain the topics related to the concept of objection and appeal. The first slide and to the fourth slide will be explained by me. First, we will talk about objection. Objection is the method taken by a taxpayer if he is not or less satisfied with a tax assessment imposed on him or on withholding or collection by a third party. As a taxpayer, you have the right to object a tax assessment. You do this by submitting an objection in writing to the Directorate General of Tax. You can submit this objection letter no later than 3 months from the date the tax assessment is sent or from the date of withholding or collection. Taxpayers can pass the predetermined time provided that the taxpayer is able to show that the time cannot be fulfilled due to the circumstances or something happens beyond the taxpayer's power. After the objection letter is received, the taxpayer must wait for a decision on the objection within 12 months. What ways objection can be raised in? Objections can be filed on first is tax underpayment assessment letter, an additional underpaid tax assessment or SKP-KBT. The third is tax overpayment assessment letter, SKPLB. The zero tax assessment, or we call it SKPN, and withholding or collection by third parties. The next slide will be explained by Nadia.
Most of the taxpayers made an objection process because of the tax assessment letter, which was deemed unfair, and that tax assessment is usually issued as a product of a tax audit. Who can object to it? First, corporate taxpayers by management. The second, for individual taxpayers by the taxpayer concerned. The third, parties withheld or collected by the third parties. And the last, the power designated by them in the above item. Objections are submitted to the head of the tax service office at the place where the taxpayer is registered with the following condition for filing an objection. The first, one objection must be filed for one type and one tax year or one tax period. The second, the letter submitted in writing in Indonesian. The third, obligate to state the reasons clearly. And the last, obligatory states the amount of tax payable according to the calculation of the taxpayer. One letter for one tax assessment letter. The period for filing an objection. Objections must be filed within 3 months from the date of the tax assessment letter or from the date of the withholding or collection, unless the taxpayer can show that the period cannot be fulfilled because it is beyond his control. An objection letter delivered directly to the tax office, then a period of 3 months is calculated from the date of the tax assessment letter or from the date of deduction or collection by a third party until the time the objection is received by the tax service office. If 3 months have passed, the objection letter is not considered because it doesn't meet the formal requirements, but it also allows a period of more than 3 months if in circumstances beyond his control. This is a clause that is often used by taxpayers. The filing an objection doesn't delay the obligation to pay taxes and the implementation of tax collection. The next presentation will continue by Valia.
Hello everyone, my name is Valia Zakira Utami. I'm going to explain my part of this presentation. Number 2. Appeal. The objection decree cannot become satisfied taxpayer. There is still one more opportunity for taxpayers to test their opinion, namely through an appeal process to the tax court. New tax appeals can be made by taxpayers to the tax court if the taxpayer is not satisfied with the results or contents of the objection decision letter to the objection previously submitted. Next, legal basis of tax appeal. The legal basis that covers it is Law Number 14, 2002 concerning the tax court. Meanwhile, the legal process includes objections, appeals, and reconsiderations. Next, party filing tax appeal. Tax appeal can be submitted by the taxpayer itself, the taxpayer's management, or the taxpayer's attorney. If during the tax appeal process the applicant dies, the tax appeal can be continued by his heirs. And if during the tax appeal process the applicant carries out a business merger, splitting, consolidation, or expansion, the tax appeal can be continued by the party who receives responsibility for the incident. Next, conditions for submitting a tax appeal letter. 1. Every one decision, one letter of appeal is submitted. 2. An appeal must be submitted in writing in Indonesian. The application period for an appeal letter is 3 months from the date the objection is received, unless there are other provisions in the taxation legislation. 3. The appeal letter must also be accompanied by a decision on the objection. 4. An appeal can only be submitted if the amount of tax payable in question has been paid 50%. And next, attach a tax payment or SSP or book transfer or PBK. And 6. Don't forget to complete supporting data or evidence such as a tax assessment or SKP, objection letter, SPT, financial reports, and others. And the last, if a tax appeal hearing is to be held, the appellant will receive notification no later than 14 days before the trial begins.
Okay, now it's my turn to continue our presentation. So here are the rights of the tax applicant that you really should even must to know. First, during a period of 3 months for the receipt of the tax appeal decision, the applicant has the right to complete his appeal letter to comply with the applicant provision. A letter of the denial can be submitted within 30 days of receipt of the tax appeal description letter. The applicant has the right to be present at the hearing to provide oral information and the necessary evidence as long as he or she notifies the head of the tax court in writing. Tax appeal applicants have the right to attend an hearing for the reading of the decision. Tax appeal applicants have the right to the accompanied or represented by their legal attorney who has been registered or has obtained legal counsel for the head of the tax court. And the last, the tax appeal applicants can ask the panel regarding the presence of witness. The next one is about what is the reason for submitting a tax appeal. Okay, so first we should know what is a tax appeal. The tax appeal is a legal action taken if the taxpayer feels dissatisfied or disagrees with the result of the tax assessment letter. This one can only be carried out if the taxpayer is dissatisfied or disagrees with the results of the tax audit followed by the insurance of the tax assessment regarding the tax due to be underpayment, overpayment, or even zero. And the last one is about the letter of description of appeal. It is a letter of appeal to the tax tutorial containing the answer to the reason for the appeal submitted by the applicant. The appeal decision is a final decision and has permanent legal force and is not a state administrative decree. So based on the D- DGT's own research, data decision canceling the tax assessment was due to the weak audit process carried out by the tax auditor. This means that many tax audits carry audits without strong juridical grounds and agreements. So this is the opportunity for the taxpayer self, even through to reach this appeal. It has to go a long way. If the submission of objection of or appeal is accepted in part of or in full, the excess payment is returned with an additional interest of 2% a month for a maximum of 24 months. I think that's all our presentation from our group today. Uh, if you want to ask, feel free to share to us. Thank you.